welcome to this week's Character Unlock. I didn't even ask what episode we're on.
26.
Well, welcome to episode 26 of Character Unlock. I completely forgot to do any kind of proper preparation for this. I'm sorry, you're just going to have to deal with that. There's not an awful lot going on, so we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been playing and cover a little bit of the news-ish. Basically talk about new Xboxes. I am hosting this week. I'm Andrew Brooker, and joining me as always is my good buddy, my partner in crime, John Miller. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Amusing story. Actually, I did two things in the last 2 weeks. Number one, I forgot to turn off my PC the entire time since we last recorded. And two, I did not touch Recore again in that entire 2 weeks when I was supposed to play.
Fuck's sake. Outstanding.
Yep.
Have you bought Recore? Did you rent it?
It's rented, so at this point it's probably been with me long enough that I probably should have just bought it.
Is it cheap enough on Boomerang to just click the thing that says keep?
Let's find out. You keep talking and I'll sit here and check if I can keep.
No, I can do that because actually it rolls into conversation. I only ask because obviously last week at Gamescom they announced that Recore was going to get a special edition of some description. I can't remember what they called it, but it's basically the Xbox One X edition, so it's going to get a 4K texture pack and a bunch of other shit, which basically means they're now giving you the finished game, because that was always the big complaint about Recore. I've not played it myself, but that was always the big complaint, was that it just felt unfinished.
So now it's either going to be finished or just looks pretty.
Yeah, either way.
Re-rendered.
But it's a free update. It's $14.99 to buy it, to pre-order it, I think, something like that. But if you already own Recore, obviously you get that update as a freebie, which they kind of made it sound like a big deal. And then at the same time, back in June at E3, they were talking about how all of these other games are going to get this 4K Xbox One X enhanced thing for free anyway. So, to try and sell me something, they already... No, piss off. Anyways. What's the price like? Have you gotten onto the page yet?
Keep this game for $9.99 including delivery.
That's not bad.
Yeah?
That's I would call that reasonable.
That is pretty reasonable. I will probably click that button tomorrow.
Yeah, on payday.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. That's problem solved. And you can rent another game after you've done that, then, can't you?
I'm just gonna take a look at the games to rent coming. What my list is. It's gonna be shit. I know it's gonna be shit. Oh, Sniper Elite 4, Quantum Break, Micro Machines, and Pokemon.
Oh God. The Definitive Edition it's called, sorry. The Recore Definitive Edition on disc is $14.99 on game. I just snuck on and had a look. Amusingly, the Recore digital download just for Xbox One is currently $29.99. Fuck you, game. I have an awful lot of time for game, and we'll talk about them again in a bit, but that's a fucking terrible price. Dickheads. Anyway. Yeah. So that was one of the big things at Gamescom, was this big Recore reveal. Did you watch the press conference, the show, the hour-and-a-half long Xbox One advert?
You know what? I didn't actually watch it, and I only because I completely forgot that they actually do press conferences at Gamescom and not just a massive list of press releases.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, to be fair, it was a giant video press release. I watched about half an hour of it, and I felt myself losing the will to live. And to be honest, the only reason I put it on is because the wife had people around and I couldn't put the Defenders on.
Oh.
So the very second they left, I turned off the Xbox thing and put the Defenders on. It just wasn't worth watching. All I wanted to know was the Xbox One pre-order thing, which hilariously, a week after we've said the FCC haven't approved it yet, they've finally opened fucking pre-orders for it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which was the other thing, wasn't it? So they had, what did they call it? The Project Scorpio Special Edition.
Yeah.
Which is an Xbox One X that says Project Scorpio on the front.
Yep.
And Project Scorpio on the controller, and costs you £20 more.
Yeah.
Whoop-de-doo.
Pretty much. That was exactly my reaction.
But here's the thing. It was exactly my reaction too, as if to say, why? What's the fucking point? But we both went out and fought to fucking pre-order one.
Yeah. 100. Absolutely. Because it's clearly the obvious thing to do.
Yep. It really is though, isn't it? It's, oh no, this is shit. What the fuck do I want that for? Just give me normal one. Pre-orders are available. Must have one.
Pre-orders are available. Done.
Yep. I mean, it's nice to know we weren't the only ones, because apparently Milton Keynes' game had several allocations that sold out lightning fast.
Yep.
And they were really good, bless them, because I don't have, well, you're the same. We don't have social media at work. So basically, my interaction with Game MK was when I got home one night going, oh shit, have you got any left? And then tweeting back at me after I've got to work the next morning going, we have some, get down here quick, which I don't then see for another 8 hours.
Yep.
But I kind of scrolled through Twitter and they didn't answer me the next day when I said, are there any left? But I looked and they'd said to somebody like 2 hours previous, they've only got a few. So I'm like, right, that's it. I'm legging it down there just to see. I don't care if they answer me. I'm going to go down and see. And yeah, they because they said they goes, yeah, we've got you'll be getting the last one. I was like, but they counted how many they'd given out or they'd handed out as pre-orders. I was like, well, you said 15 and you've just counted 13. That's at least 2. Can I have them both? At which point they told me to piss off and would only let me have the one. The bastards.
Yeah. Well, there's pretty good reasoning. I looked into it a little bit more, and another mate of mine was looking at getting the Scorpio, and he looked on because he phoned up Game Milton Keynes and then the 3 in like Northampton.
Yeah.
And they all said that they had stock, and then at the end of the day, he got into his car and phoned them up again, and they said, "No, sorry, we don't have any because it's all part of a pool that they get to. There's just a regional game pool."
Yeah.
So clearly, whenever they've said that they've got stock, at the more recent times, it's been there's a pool stock, and they just have to select from that rather than actually having physical terminals, and then as part of the pool, then they just get slightly more. And they'd run out. So he went looking online, and people are selling the pre-orders for over £800 a pop now.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, which actually breaks eBay's terms of service.
It does, because you're basically selling a till receipt.
Yep.
Although, 800 quid. For the sake of 800 quid, I would gladly not have my Xbox One X.
Scorpio edition.
Or my Scorpio edition. For 800 quid, I'll let someone else have it, and I will go and buy a normal one for 400.
Yeah.
And still be 400 quid in pocket. Would pay for my hotel at EGX.
Seriously, when he told me that, I was literally just thinking, you know what? I'd 100% consider that. Like, go into the shop, buy my Scorpio edition, and then immediately stick it on eBay.
Yep.
Just to see what kind of feed I get out of it.
Yeah.
If I can get myself an extra, I don't know, 300 maybe, then absolutely, that covers me for a fair amount of time in gaming.
Yep. But that's the thing, because there'll be plenty of standard Xbox One X's to pick up the next day.
Yeah. Or even the same fucking day.
Cool. 850 quid.
Yeah.
I'm looking at it now. £850.
For a seat.
It's not letting me click on it. I kind of don't want to click on it and just be reading eBay things while I'm on the podcast, but at the same time, I'm curious as to if this guy's going to go, just have to... It's not letting me click on it. I'm not arguing with the app. Fuck you. Yeah, I want to know if it's just selling the receipt or if he's actually going to sell you the Scorpio.
Yeah, if it's selling the receipt and you literally just have to take the receipt off him and then go to the shop on the day.
Which would be even better. 800 quid, come meet me in Milton Keynes.
Yeah, come meet me in Milton Keynes game store and I will give you the till receipt.
Yeah.
But the thing is you don't need the till receipt.
No, because I've swiped my reward card, I can still walk in there and claim it.
You can literally walk in there, reward card and ID, and you're covered. So I've got my till receipt sitting in my wallet. I'm just thinking, most receipts are printed on like the thermal paper, so it being in my wallet and me sitting in my wallet, that fucking receipt's gonna get absolutely annihilated while it's in my wallet. So I think I'd probably take it out, but then I'll forget to put it back in again when I go to get my game, when I go to get my 1X, and then I'll turn up and I'll be like, oh shit, forgot my receipt. Here's my reward card and here's my ID, and they'll look at it and go, well, your addresses don't match. I said, that's because you've got a really shit system when it comes to updating addresses, and I've moved house twice since getting this card.
Yeah. I just kind of feel I need to make it clear I don't condone anybody scalping an Xbox One X like that.
No, and
I'm only joking. I'm not going to do that.
Maybe if it was like $2,000,
yeah,
then you'd be stupid not to. But
well, I mean, if I pick up the Xbox One X Scorpio on release day, get it home, see on eBay that they're selling for £1,000, I will sell it for £1,000.
No one would say no. But the fact is that if people are going to pay for that, that's just insane.
Yeah, if you're dumb enough to, because they were doing it for the Day One edition Xbox Ones, weren't they?
Yeah, they were going super expensive just because the achievement.
Yep, because people wanted a 0-point Day One achievement.
You up until I think maybe was it 9 months after, you could still buy Day One edition achievements from e-tailers.
Yep.
E-tailers were literally selling, oh, by the way, we've got a load of Day One achievements because we didn't sell all of the Day One edition consoles. We're now selling our Day One edition consoles as regular edition consoles and the code separately for like 99 pence.
I don't get it. I mean, even if it's for £1, why would you buy an achievement?
Because then you get to say that you were an Xbox One Day One-er. It's like...
But you don't, because they're dated and we can see that you bought it a year after the thing came out.
True. Well,
it's a bit like when people on PS3 go, oh, I platinum such and such a game, and you go, but did you? All of those achievements popped at 753. Every single one of them. That's not getting a platinum, that's hacking, you bellend.
It's literally just changing the code and just like popping your platinum.
Yep.
It'll be interesting if there's a Scorpio achievement that's hidden that they've not told anyone about.
Yeah.
And you've literally just spent 20 quid on a Scorpio achievement.
I have to admit, as much as you and I were both kind of trying to get hold of a pre-order from a bricks and mortar shop, I did briefly sit there and go, is this really worth all the hassle? And is it worth the extra 20 quid on RRP for that little bit of green writing?
Nah, probably not.
No, of course it's not.
No, especially considering I won't even be using that controller.
Oh fuck no, that controller stays in pristine nick in the box.
Yeah, that motherfucker's staying in the box, and then at some point in the future it would become worthwhile when, I don't know, I get rid of my Xbox One X for the Xbox Next.
Yeah.
Whatever they're going to decide to call it. I mean, they're clearly just taking Nintendo's idea of just going, fuck it, let's throw a random word at it, and then we'll stick it.
Yeah. But yeah.
So it'll be Xbox One X 360 edition. Or something stupid. And trade in the Xbox One X Project Scorpio edition, maybe get you an extra like 15 quid on your trading value.
Yeah.
Or you could probably sell the Project Scorpio controller itself for 100.
Yeah. Buy yourself a new Elite.
There we go.
Although talking about Elite controllers and eBay, I tell you the controller I really want that Gears of War Elite controller, because it looks fucking gorgeous. That kind of the matte red blood splatter thing. I love that. I think it looks great, but it's selling on eBay. Used ones are selling on eBay for 200 quid. because you can't buy them anymore.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I just literally just clicked typed it into Google, and it's like Elite controller 249.99.
Yeah.
RRP is 449.99.
Yeah. I am not paying £250 for a fucking controller. Like, not ever. I don't care how fucking good it is. If I won the lottery, I wouldn't spend that much money on a fucking controller, because it's just a cuntish thing to spend that kind of money on.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some of the other controllers because they've had some really nice designed controllers. Like the Dawn Shadow rather, which is the one that's pink blended into black.
Yeah.
That's quite a nice one. And there's a couple of the blue ones they've sold.
Yeah.
But as a whole, not a huge fan of the different coloured controllers. Although, saying that, if I was to do a Design Lab one, I would definitely do one in Vikings colours.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind a Patriots one. I'd happily have a Patriots one.
The only problem is that you can't get it to be like an official Patriots one, so it'd literally just be blue and red and white.
Yeah.
Same as mine, it'd just be purple, yellow, and white.
Yeah.
So it'd literally be, and then potentially if you can get like a little plastic sticker to put on the controller. But aside from the rubber grips on the sides, it's not an Elite controller. You don't have the pedals, you don't have the hair triggers. It's nice and a great gimmick, but it doesn't give me what my Elite controller does.
No, it doesn't. And I have, I've tried to pick up. I think my Elite controller ran out of battery when I was playing Agents of Mayhem, and I picked up the other one instead of plugging the Elite one in. Literally, I was like, no, can't do it.
It's not the same.
No. I thought I was going to throw it across the room. It was so light. I thought it was going to come out my hand.
Yeah, it's so light, and the lack of rubber on the grips makes you just feels like it's going to fall out your hand, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's like you feel. I actually felt like I was since picking up another controller, I felt like I was holding it tighter, and it's actually giving me hand cramp.
Yeah. Yeah. I tell you, I will say one thing about controllers. It's made me laugh. So I walked into Game Milton Keynes and pre-ordered my Xbox One X Project Scorpio edition, and the guy looked at me and went, "Do you want to pre-order anything else?" As everybody in game always does. I said, "No, I'm good, thanks." Are you sure? We've got some new controllers coming out. I went, "Alright, what controllers you got coming?" He went, "So there's this pink Minecraft one."
Yeah, I'm good.
For those that don't know me, I'm a fat 6'2" ginger-haired Viking-looking motherfucker. I do not need. I honestly do not need a pink Xbox One controller that just basically looks like it was made from pig penis.
Yeah. Yeah, you do.
It just looks. No. I looked at the guy, I went, "Just look at me. Do I look like I'm going to buy a pink controller?" He was like, "Fair enough." He went, "We have a green Minecraft one." I was like, "Fuck off, mate." Jesus.
You probably shouldn't have taken offence to the colour. It probably should have been do I look like I play Minecraft? Do I look like Minecraft's target audience?
Yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it was a... Excuse me. I am losing my voice today. I do apologise. Yeah.
Screaming in the weekend.
It was, yeah. I was in London watching horror films for 5 days. There was lots of screaming and cheering and clapping and sitting very uncomfortably. But I won't talk about that because it's not video games. And I was on Failed Critics yesterday, where me and another gentleman who was also from Failed Critics was at Fright Fest, and we'd done a Fright Fest special and talked all about it if anyone is interested.
See, still plugging the show even though we're not part of it.
They're true. Bless them. They gave us a plug as well yesterday.
Aww.
So that was very nice of them. Owen didn't have to do that at all, and he did. And caught me unawares, to be fair, but I was also just about to fall asleep. So
anything would have caught you unawares at that point.
Pretty much.
Like a cat seeing a cucumber as it turns around.
What the fuck?
Some people will know exactly what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what you're on about.
There we go. That's all that matters. The listeners would understand.
Fair enough. Have we talked the Xbox One X to death, or?
I think we've talked the 1X Scorpio edition to death. You
Oh,
know,
one last thing. Currently on eBay, the highest priced one that I found is £990.
bargain at twice the price.
I know, right? The listing is brilliant. I have for sale Xbox One X Project Scorpio space exclamation mark. It is rare, probably sold out everywhere. This is pre-order for 9 November from Argos with 1 year guarantee. I will give extra bonus Gears of War 4 game. Thanks, mate. Because, you know, £1,000 for a console. Just give me a year-old game as well. Result. I will send insured and Royal Mail Track 24 and will send it as soon as possible. I will receive. Only UK buyers, please.
So he's selling a £900 console,
Mm-hmm.
but not willing to cover the fact that he could possibly ship it to another country.
Yep.
Because that would just eat into his profits.
Yep. Well, he is sending free postage, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's all well and good, but free postage of Royal Mail tracked.
It is, in fact, so expensive that eBay will offer you finance for it.
Wow. Oh, that'd be through PayPal, won't it? 'Cause
Yeah.
PayPal finance.
£47 per month for 24 months.
£47 a month, and you can have an Xbox One X or One X Scorpio edition, sorry, or for just 10 times that, literally, you could probably find an Xbox One X Scorpio edition somewhere in a shop.
Yep.
If you just get lucky.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. But
Although, but come 2 months' time, that will probably sell.
I'm saying, make no mistake, I will be keeping my eye on that. And if I don't, this is how tired I am. I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I just looked at the TV and there's an advert for Vagisan, but I had no idea. And all I saw was a big pink box that just said vaginal dryness in white writing.
Right.
It just threw me.
Well, it's not probably what it's supposed to do.
No. It's supposed to make you run away. No one likes a dry vagina. I don't know why I said that. Oh, fuck. So yes, make no mistake, I will be keeping my eye on that, and if I pick up my Xbox One X Project Scorpio edition on release date and they're actually selling for £1,000, I will be eBaying mine too.
It's only fair, really. Let's be honest. I mean,
If someone is fucking stupid enough to spend £1,000 on an Xbox One X, I will supply it to them, and with 40% of that money, go and buy a normal one and have the exact same machine.
exact same machine, some extra money in hand. You know what? I would probably sell it to anyone almost globally. Like,
Yep.
just because the amount of money that I'm making extra, I could probably afford to ship it to fucking Hong Kong.
Well, the thing is, if you're sending it through eBay, it's a flat rate to send stuff abroad. Because you send it to eBay and they post it for you.
There we go. Problem solved.
I honestly,
That-
I don't know why people don't do international shipping now, because that's all it takes. You just send it to eBay. They will email you when it arrives with them. The responsibility is all on them then. And they take that responsibility. If it gets lost, you keep your money and the buyer gets refunded. Problem solved. But yeah, if they're going for £1,000 in November, I'll be selling mine and buying a normal one.
Yep.
Because that will pay for my Fright Fest next year.
Like that pays for EGX 3 years,
Literally, because there's
including hotels.
literally there's another Fright Fest in February in Glasgow, and that extra money would pay for my ticket, my hotel, and a first class seat on a comfy train for the 5-hour trip.
That would probably cover you for a first class ticket on a comfy train for each day.
Yep. So yeah, believe
Or
me.
Get a first class ticket on a coach.
Yeah.
Because they'll probably close the trains or something stupid again.
Well, you say that, this is completely off topic. I quite like this though. I like that we just end up just chatting bollocks for half of the time. So obviously this weekend was Fright Fest in Leicester Square, and as anybody that follows me knows, I was fucking furious because Euston closed down for 2 days, which cost me an extra almost 400 quid in hotels so I could keep going to the festival. Back in February, when at Fright Fest Glasgow, was when we had that really shitty weather, like the awful weather in February. All the trains shut down. Mike was saying, because he went last to Glasgow this year, I didn't. He was saying, because he's in Manchester, and it took him 14 hours to get from Manchester to Glasgow.
Fuck.
Yeah, that's how bad it was. So, Fright Fest seems to be plagued by travel problems.
Well, you say that. I was trying to get my way to Wembley on Sunday when they decided, because it wasn't just Euston that was closed. It was the almost entire line between Milton Keynes. No, it was the entire line between Milton Keynes and Euston.
Yep.
For some strange reason. So trains were getting as far as Milton Keynes and then going home again.
Yep.
And if you wanted to get into London, you had to get a replacement bus service that would take you 3 hours to Stanmore.
Yep.
I could drive to Stanmore in 40 minutes.
Yep. This was the bit that really pissed me off, because I spent 200 quid on my season ticket for the trains, because I was going to go up and down each day. Spent 200 quid, right? For 200 quid, I could have driven down and parked on Leicester Square every day, including congestion charge.
Yep.
If only I'd have known a month in advance, instead of a fucking week. Cunt bags. But yeah, how was getting to Wembley? Was it alright?
It was actually pretty easy. I just drove to Marylebone.
Yeah.
Not Marylebone. I didn't drive to Marylebone. I drove to Aylesbury, rather.
Fair
and
enough.
the train line into Marylebone stops at Wembley Stadium.
Nice. Not bad at all.
And then it was just the typical, you've just left the stadium, now you get to stand in a queue with all the other motherfuckers getting on the same train.
Yep.
But by the time I actually got to a train and coming home, it was literally just, once I got to Aylesbury, it was get in the car and drive.
Yeah. I do, if I have to do that, I do Shepherd's Bush.
Yeah?
Well, down the motorway.
Yep.
Round the North Circular, same as going to Wembley. But at Shepherd's Bush, there's a Westfield car park. It costs you £8 to park all day.
Cool.
And you can get anywhere from Shepherd's Bush, including Wembley. It's just down the road.
To be fair, I was actually considering, once I saw that's what the replacement bus service was doing, going just as far as Stanmore and turning around, I was just looking at it going, I might just drive to Stanmore and park there.
Yeah.
It's like 2 stops on the tube. And there's the parking at Stanmore is like £4 for the day.
Yeah.
On a Sunday. And I was like, that is absolutely worth it. And then I just thought, well, hang on. It's going to be fucking heaving there because no one will be going. Everyone will be wanting like trips to Stanmore because the fucking replacement bus is taking 3 fucking hours.
Yeah.
It does not take 3 hours to get a bus to London.
No, it does not. And this is where my anger came, because obviously I was leaving Leicester Square anywhere between 11:30 and 1:30 in the morning, and having to get home and then having to get back again. But yeah, that wasn't happening.
Just imagine would they even run replacement bus services that late?
I don't think they did, and this is why I ended up making the decision to just stay in a fucking hotel. Stayed in a Premier Inn hub.
What the fuck?
It's basically a tiny, tiny box room.
Okay.
It's about the size of a toilet cubicle, and it has a double bed in it, and a toilet, and a small shower.
Pretty sure all Premier Inn rooms have a double bed now.
Yeah, I think they do.
So it's like you could fit a double bed in here, but you couldn't fit anything else.
But the problem is, right, so a normal Premier Inn room, even on a double bed, like I said earlier, I'm a lanky motherfucker. I'd hang off the edge of a normal double bed.
You have to sleep diagonally.
Kind of do. But when it's just a normal room, you can just hang off the edge. It's not a problem. But this tiny little hub room, literally, I was in the fetal position because my feet were just up against the wall.
There is no hanging off the bed. There is wall.
There is wall.
And then wall.
Yeah, and the 3 sides is wall. Right, we need to talk about like games or something.
Yeah, at the moment we're just insulting foreign people.
Yeah. Was there any other news we wanted to talk about?
Brief mention to the thing that came out of Microsoft and Amazon today, in that Cortana and Alexa are kind of collaborating with each other. So there's a possibility that while you're playing on your Xbox and you get really annoyed at something happening and your Xbox thinks you've just said, hey Cortana, you've accidentally just pre-ordered a game through Amazon base because of Alexa probably.
It could be perfect. It really could. You know, you're playing, I don't know, Dark Souls, lose your shit, lob your controller. Cortana, can you get Alexa to order me a new controller, please?
Or you get really angry at playing Dark Souls, and you get really pissed off, and you start screaming, and then all of a sudden, the next day, you've got Dark Souls 2 posted through the door from Amazon.
You start yelling at your bloody cunt, twat bag, motherfucker. Next day, box of tampons arrives at your door.
It's like the fucking Amazon buttons that you could just buy and just stick to surfaces. You just like, when you run out of like Dettol, just click the button.
Yeah.
It's like next day some Dettol arrives.
I want to get one just so I can see if it's possible to abuse it, but I'm not paying £5 for one of them buttons.
Or the ridiculous amount of money is to abuse the amount of money you'd spend on renewing something like your dishwasher tablets.
Well, you do it with something you're going to use, aren't you? So, you know, dishwasher tablets, or, you know, arse floss or something. You know,
I don't think you could do it on things that you probably aren't consumable items. Otherwise, it's just a complete waste. You spend £5 to get something you're going to press the button on maybe 3 times ever.
The Blu-ray players. Just a pallet of Blu-ray players outside your house when you get back from work.
I said things that aren't consumables, Brooke. I know the way you go through fucking Blu-rays.
I go through a fair amount of Blu-ray players in a year. It's scary how often I have to replace my Blu-ray player. But this is also the reason why I never ever ever use my consoles for Blu-ray players.
Because the Blu-ray drive in both consoles is fucking awful.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that breaks on the Xbox One.
Yeah. I think
mine's actually faulty at this point. I think in order to get it to work, I have to hold the disc out while it's trying to pull it in, and then let it go rather than sliding in.
I did at one point think my one was dying when it refused to install Ghost Recon.
And then you just found out that it was trying to save the mystery.
It was trying to save me the time, so yeah, sadly. But it's yeah. The Alexa thing I think is quite cool. I think it's open for abuse, same as the Xbox off thing, but
oh yeah, you're gonna have people yelling down the mic into people who've got their TVs playing the audio out and their Kinect picking up. It's like, Alexa,
order flavoured condoms.
Banana. Alexa, order banana condoms. Just constantly. And if they've got a fucking Amazon Echo, whatever the fuck, dot or regular one, just start yelling that down the TVs, so there's like the dot picks it up as well, so you get twice as many condoms.
That'd be brilliant. Again, just like a DPD truck filled with Durex. You alright, mate? Is this yours? No. Actually, yes it is. I need all of those. I'll see you again next week. Dude, we got to talk about games. Keep...
Oh, half hour in, I think we've spoken about one gaming-related thing, and then moving on to condoms and flavored condoms and dildos for your mum.
Not for my mum. She's got an Amazon Dash. You don't need any from me. They're consumable, don't you know? Exactly. Oh God. I'm so glad my mum don't listen to this.
That's what you think.
Oh, fuck. Oh, right. Yeah. Games.
Right.
No,
Games.
not games. Not quite yet.
News? More news? Less news?
Not news, just funny story thing.
Okay.
So after we done, after we went all indie with the podcast, we got our domain name and all that kind of shit sorted out, and we have a proper email address that looks like it might be professional. Yeah. mail@characterunlocked.com if anyone wants to email us with suggestions, complaints.
More casual racism ideas.
Yeah. We started spamming PR companies to get onto their press release list, which was kind of successful. I think
it was a great idea.
I think we're on every press release list going, but we got our first bit of review code, which I was kind of chuffed with. We got that like a week after I started emailing people.
Yeah.
Granted, it wasn't for a game I'm ever going to play.
No, but fortunately, it felt right into the remit of another one of the team.
Yeah. So now we can talk about what we've been playing. So, Mr. Miller, why don't you tell us what we were actually given to review?
So, I was given a copy of F1 2017, which, for someone like me, I'm a pretty huge Formula One fan as a whole. I may occasionally spam my Twitter feed with stuff that's happening on in the Formula One world. A lot of my friends watch Formula One, and I play the game, or at least I try to buy, possibly rent it each year. It's another one of the yearly titles that comes out, and there isn't much changed between them. Occasionally there's a relatively large update, but for the most part, it's just updated car graphics, designs, and sometimes a new track, maybe, if you're lucky, depending on how the season pans out.
Yeah.
So I got F1 2017 to review, and the first thing I noticed after starting it up was it looks exactly the same as last year's game.
Outstanding.
Which, I'm not going to hold it against it entirely. I mean, I play yearly iteration titles. To anyone who looks at it, FIFA looks the same every single fucking year, which, yeah, it does. It's not until you watch one of those, this is what free kicks on FIFA looked like for the past 25 years, and they just show you, like, a cutscene of taking a free kick, and then each individual one, and then you just start to notice, okay, yeah, it's... Now that you watch it, it does look like it's improved, but over the last couple of years, it hasn't changed much. So it's the same sort of problem for this one. It's still got the Codemasters racing game skin, essentially, which is a very glossy track, and then the cars look still very they look very CGI in design. They don't look like they've gone for the realism aspect. Like they've not really considered that they could do a more realistic looking car because they don't need to.
It's not Forza levels of quality and detail.
No, it's not. Which there is a Formula One car usually released into each Forza game.
Okay.
Forza main game rather, and it's usually the one that's sponsored by Microsoft, which the last couple of years has been the Lotus, which there isn't a Lotus team anymore, it's Team Renault now.
Okay.
So there's the Lotus whichever car, 21 I think was the last one. It was the 21st car made at Enstone for the team. So it's E21. And it looks fucking beautiful in Forza.
Yeah.
The cars in F1 2017 don't have that same kind of design level where it looks like it could be a real car. In video game format, it looks like it's a computer-generated car on a computer game.
Yeah.
Same with all of the graphics; they look very CGI. There's something about it that's not quite right, and I think it's been because I've played so much Forza and Gran Turismo, where they've got such a high, design on, making it look realistic and play realistic. It's a very good racing game, and it feels really stable for a racing game. It's not twitchy at all, but that's Formula One as a whole. Frequently the car gets underneath me and I just lose it in a corner because I've been a bit of a knob trying to get around it.
Yeah.
But that's what Formula One is. It punishes the driver for being a moron.
Fair enough.
But it's not all shit. I quite like some of the changes they've made to the practice sessions. Before, last year, there was 3 things you could do in a practice session. There was, looking after your tyres and doing a couple of runs where you drive around the track, do 5 laps, and the idea is to get a time that's below a certain time, but to also make it so that you don't do too much tyre wear for each lap.
Yeah.
There's another one which is to try and set consistent you have to try and set a qualifying lap time where you literally drive around and try and set a quick pace in practice sessions.
Okay.
And then there was a third one which was just basic track acclimatization where you just drive around the track and you hit gates, at speed to try and set your corners, how you're going to feel it. It makes the practice sessions a lot more fun. It means that you've actually got something to aim for rather than just driving in a circle 30 times. Which is what Formula One is. The practice sessions previous to last year's one was literally you'd go into the practice session, you drive around for a bit, you look at your times and go, you know what, yeah, that's probably quick enough, and then just skip the practice session.
So is it kind of called a practice session, but it sounds more like a tutorial for the rest of the game?
The practice sessions are literally just a tutorial for that track.
I mean, you do have to forgive my ignorance. I know less than nothing about Formula One, so I understand the words that you say.
Yeah.
But when you put them all together, they don't mean an awful lot to me.
You know how when you're just driving from where you are at the moment, and you drive somewhere new before sat navs came out, you just have a map, and you'd occasionally do a dry run almost. You drive to where it is that you're going to just to see, the sort of time frame you could be expected to get there, and how that all works out.
Yeah.
It's essentially that, but the bonus is this time round doing these objectives where you drive around to, you set your corners up. Another one where you drive around laps of the track, trying to find the smoothest way to get around so you do less tire wear, and then another one where you're trying to get around as quickly as possible. So you completely throw out the tire wear. You try and remember where it is that you're heavy on your tires, where it is that you're going a bit too hard in the corners, and you need to, to get the fastest possible line, you need to take a bit less speed going in and a bit more speed coming out. And you put it all together. You get points. And those points mean that you can then go into the R&D section where you can then research and develop new parts for your car or other things and upgrades, which means that over the course of the season you improve your car, which is something new from last year, and it's back in this year, except they've changed the R&D tree, so it's a lot more detailed. Instead of just upgrading engine, aero, turbocharger, the various different things. Instead of upgrading those individually, you now have 4 separate trees to go for, and then modifiers to those trees. So you look at the tree and it goes, oh, if you upgrade this, it's going to cost you 1,000 resource points.
Yeah.
But if you upgrade this one for 500, it takes 5% off of the price of all your future research plans. And then you upgrade that 5% one for 1,000, and it becomes 10% off, and then 15, 20, and it goes. If you keep upgrading that, it goes up to like 50% off. Okay. So then it's at that point, it's then worthwhile upgrading the rest of the tree. But you then need to really consider all the other teams are improving, so you need to try and fit the whole. If I improve my car now, it's going to cost more, but my car will be better. Whereas if I upgrade these things, it'll be cheaper to improve my car, but my rivals will improve their car while I can't.
Yeah.
So it all fits together nicely. For 17 compared to 16 is that in 17, other than the new skill tree that's come out, is that there's 2 extra practice session things to go through. There's one of them which is fuel consumption. You have to try and do laps with a specific delta time, but using as little fuel as possible. So instead of going hard into corners, you lift and coast.
Yeah.
Which in a Formula One car, that can save you a fair amount of fuel because you're not burning it. So you then go into, if you let go of your accelerator 50 yards ahead of where you'd normally press the brake, you then need to brake later to get into the corner at the same speed normally. But you might have just saved like 0.4 of a litre of fuel, which ends up being a fair amount in the long run if you keep doing that for corners. But doing that is slower than driving as hard as possible and braking as late as possible.
Yeah.
So that's why you kind of need to do the balance of what you've got and going around the track. So it all fits together, and all things like that, and then just in general, just going around and doing laps and trying to do 5 laps in a row where you get a pretty decent time out of it.
Yeah.
Pretty consistent time practice run. And you eventually get yourself sorted out so that, you then go into that race and you go, you know what? I can fucking win this.
Yeah.
obviously the car, it depends entirely on the car you pick as what it is your objectives are. But
Yeah.
the car that you pick, it also then in this one compared to almost, I'm gonna go with like every other racing game I've played. Difficulty.
Yeah.
You get easy, which is literally you're driving around and all the cars are practically in reverse. Medium,
That's the difficulty I play on when I play racing games.
yeah, medium, which is you're driving around and all the cars are driving around, but they won't go above gear 5.
Yeah.
And then there's hard, which is you're driving around and all the cars around you will do top speed, but they'll probably fall off the track at some point. And they'll just like ignore a corner and just not bother.
Yeah.
And then there's expert or a legend difficulty, where it is they'll drive around the track and you'll be back of the grid.
Yeah.
100% of the time, every time. Doesn't matter how quick you're going, they will always be quicker. Even
Yeah.
if you're driving the fastest car in the game and they're driving the shittest one, you will still end up behind them all by like 3 seconds.
Yep.
That's the way that racing game difficulty goes. It's everything is, there's no middle ground. There's no, oh, I'm driving this car, so I should be finishing 10th place every race, so I will finish 10th place. It's, I'm driving this car, I should be finishing 10th place. I'm either coming first or last, depending on whether I pick hard difficulty or expert difficulty.
Yeah.
With this one, there are sliders.
Okay.
So instead of just going easy, medium, hard, expert, you get still easy, medium, hard, expert, but you get different degrees. So I could select rating of 65 hard,
Yeah.
and the game is too easy for me. But I knock it up to 75 hard, and I'm just hitting that rough patch where I'm now driving a car that should be coming in 10th, and I managed to guide myself to a 5th place finish.
Okay.
The cars 4th and above, I had no fucking chance of catching. They were doing like a second a lap faster than me, but the cars behind me were half a second slower. So I think ramping my difficulty up a little bit more would make it a bit more a competitive game.
Yeah.
But the same, it's whether or not I fancy knocking the difficulty up and being a bit more competitive, or knocking it down a bit more and
Yeah.
it being a bit more competitive but further ahead. I'm in that sort of grey area now, whether or not I want to make the game where I want to be winning more points in the overall standings and seeing what I get out of it, or making the game more difficult and therefore more challenging because I've
Yeah.
got more to compete with.
Fair enough.
It's an odd one, and I think if I'm to keep playing it, which, you know, I might, but at the same time, it's review code. I was really only supposed to play it for as long as I'm reviewing it for,
Yeah.
and then probably get rid of it.
To be fair, if they're bothered about that, they will deactivate it.
True.
So
And considering I was playing it 3 days after it was released, I'm guessing they're not all that bothered about it, but
probably not. For a title like that, I would say, assuming that it's okay enough for everybody to be given a bit of review code and for everybody to say, nah, it's all right.
yeah.
You know, no one's come out and said it's absolute dog shit.
No.
I've seen a couple of good reviews. To be fair, I only looked at the reviews because we got review code and I was curious as to what everybody else thought.
You know what? I've not looked at any of the other reviews for it. I'm hoping that I'm not alone in that saying that the game is more or less the same. It's
Yeah.
just that there's some differences, and those little subtle differences are what make it a different game.
Yeah.
If you didn't get 16, if you got 15 and thought 16 wasn't enough of an upgrade, 17 is actually a pretty good comparison.
Yeah.
If you like Formula 1, if you like racing games, it's definitely up your street. If you like neither of those things, or if you only like one of those things and not the other,
Yeah.
then it's probably not yours. And so
Is it? So at which point I just go, yeah, it's not for me.
come end of the season, which is like 6 weeks away, more or less. It's like end of November is the last race in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah.
The game will be a quarter of the price. We'll be hitting like bargain basement £15, and then come like the start of the season of next year, the game will drop down again in price, and then it'll jump up again, and then it'll be a Games with Gold game by this time next year.
Fair enough.
It'll be free.
Yeah. Fair enough. But, at least it wasn't complete and utter shit. Which it could have been.
Yeah, could have been.
Yeah. Good. That's alright, man. As long as, we got a game that you had a bit of fun with.
Yeah, it's not like we got review code for a game that neither of us were even considering wanting to play at any point ever.
Well, no, at which point, if they'd have turned around and gone, we have review code for, I don't know, Farming Simulator. Catherine. Oh, God. Dragon
Didn't you buy
Ball
that?
Z. No, I got it for free on PlayStation Plus. I'm almost certain of it.
Alright, that's alright then.
I did always want to buy it because the puzzles in it looked awesome, but there was no way I was going to sit through the bullshit story to get to those puzzles. Basically the same reason I don't own a 3DS in every Professor Layton game.
Because the puzzles look fun, but the story's shit.
Exactly.
Doesn't your wife have a 3DS for that reason?
Nah, not for a long time.
Oh, okay.
Did get her one. And a load of the Professor Layton games and the brain training games and all that kind of shit. Never got used, so it got sold.
Makes sense.
It's been a long time since I've said I need to keep every console we've ever owned for, nostalgia. I don't have room or money to be wasting away like that. But yeah. That's good. Well, I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Well.
I did like it. I don't know if I'll keep playing it, even if I have the ability to, carry on playing it.
No.
If they don't lock it back down again, so I can't play it, then I don't know if I'd keep playing it. I might throw it on every so often and just flick a race through just in boredom.
Yeah.
But achievements did pop, so
nice. Yeah, it sounds like you got the full version then.
So the achievements popped, but I'm pretty sure that when I looked before the game was launched, at least anyway, when I fired out the first time and I got my first achievement to pop, I held the guide button down for it to show me what the achievement was, and it came up on the side saying you need to start a game to look at achievements.
Yeah, that's quite common. I've never seen it on Xbox, but I rarely get games early on Xbox. Certainly not, a week early.
So I don't know if it was because it was a review code and I wasn't actually getting achievements, but they were just popping at the time when it was appropriate, or if it was just that because the game was before release, they hadn't live.
It's more likely that the achievements weren't on the server yet.
Yeah.
Because that happens a lot with PlayStation. You'll find a lot with a PS4 when you get games early and you start pinging achievements. Your achievements ping, but when you go to have a look at them, they're not there.
Oh yeah, it's because Microsoft moved over to that with the One when they changed it, because it used to be they were on the disc or on the digital download code that you got back when there was like 2 games that were available on digital for Xbox 360.
But now everything's server-sided.
Yeah. So I guess that leaves more space on the disc.
Yeah.
And saves space on the download. People with metered internet is that they don't have to download achievements anymore, apart from them being cloud-based.
Yeah.
So when you go, does that mean the achievements aren't available offline?
They should be. I don't know. I've never taken my Xbox offline.
Me neither. Be interesting one. There must be. I'm guessing that when you download the game, it does have the achievements there on the console, and then it just resyncs back up when you.
Yeah.
So it will pop the achievements where it's appropriate, but you won't be able to view them until you connect back up.
No.
Which is, I'm guessing, what 2017 was.
Yeah.
That exact scenario was that it would pop them at appropriate times, but they weren't available.
Yeah.
So, now that I've spoken enough about our first ever review code, and hopefully not last, and hopefully not the best one we ever get as well. Brooks, what were you up to this last couple of weeks?
I only played one game, really, and it was my big summer game. It was one I was really looking forward to, and that was Volition's latest, Agents of Mayhem. Now, Volition, obviously, are the guys that made Saints Row, every Saints Row game.
Get Out of Hell.
Get Out of Hell. They've done Red Faction as well.
When the Saints saved Christmas.
Yep. Now, the thing with Agents of Mayhem It's an open world, futuristic action adventure thing where you fight an alien force an enemy. I'll be honest with you, I can't remember if it's an alien force. It must be. Cannot remember. It's been like a week and a half since I played.
So basically the story of Saints Row 4.
Well, see, this is kind of my problem with it. It's set in Seoul, so it's actually set in a real life place. Seoul is in South Korea.
Yeah.
And it's and what you basically do is you do Saints Row. Or more specifically, like you said, you do Saints Row 4. For the benefit of people that haven't played Saints Row 4, it basically plays out as you are X main character. And to progress the story, you have to go and unlock other main characters. And then you do jobs for those main characters to earn their trust, loyalty, I think.
Respect.
Actually. Yeah.
I know it's hustle, loyalty, respect.
It's hustle, loyalty, respect. Fuck off. and basically their loyalty missions are little side missions, and then you go do bigger side missions that are actually really missions, and then you move on and fight a big boss and game over. The thing with Agents of Mayhem is that it's almost exactly that. It does have its USP is you actually play as 3 people.
Alright.
Out of, I think, a possible 12? Might be 15.
Do you get to pick these 3 people like at the start? And
Yes.
just say, I want to be this guy, and this guy, because they look like they've got the best power-ups.
You're given 3 people to start with.
Yeah.
And you take those people and you go and do missions. Now, it's not like you control one person and the other 2 are AI controlled. It's you control one person and then you can use your D-pad to go back and forth and change who you're playing as.
Oh, kind of like how GTA 5 has it? Where you can just D-pad yourself over to the other character. Except, I'm guessing it's more of a you D-pad across and your character changes.
Yes, your character changes.
You move to where the other person is.
Yeah, so basically you start as a chick, and then you press left and you morph into a dude, and then you press left again and you morph into another dude.
Cool.
It's an interesting way to... You basically, because then you can mix and match powers, because each person has specific weapons, they have specific power-ups, they have their own dialogue, and it works really well. It's a load of fun, but very, very quickly into this game I realised I was basically playing Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
You'd take your 3 agents down out of your little ship, you'd take your 3 agents into Seoul, you'd go and start a mission where you would unlock another agent, you'd do that agent's missions, and now that agent's unlocked, and now you can use that one. Now all of these agents, as you go on, they all rank up and you can give them all extra powers, or you can change their loadout, or not so much their loadout, but what like their specials do and what their specials do, because everyone's got a special thing that times out, also that cools down every like 10 to 15 seconds, and it's kind of like a mid-power thing. So I don't know what would be a good... Okay, so one of the better characters in this game is one of the guys that you start with. I can't remember his name, but he's just one of the guys. Hollywood, I think his name is, and he's an actor who is now an agent of mayhem.
Right.
Yeah. So he's just got a normal like assault rifle, and then he does like his special move would be like a grenade launcher. It will just fire one grenade and then do a bit of an AoE, an area of effect attack.
Yep.
And then after you've built up a certain amount of kills, it never actually really explains what you have to do to build this meter up, but over time your meter builds up and it's your mayhem meter, and then when it's full you can do your mayhem move, which is it's like an X-ray move on Mortal Kombat X. You just press the 2 shoulder buttons and now you go into completely mental mode. And as a concept it's really kind of cool. and it makes you feel super powerful when you're in the middle of a gunfight and it feels like you're about to lose, and then woohoo, mayhem move, and then fuck everything up. It's really kind of cool. My biggest problem with Agents of Mayhem, and I do want to say that for the most part I had a shitload of fun with Agents of Mayhem. When I get back onto it, I will still have a shitload of fun with Agents of Mayhem. It has two main problems for me. The first one is it feels unfinished.
Okay.
When I say that, what I mean is your three characters all talk to each other, even though only one of them is on the screen.
Can you hear the one that you're playing as talking, and then they then respond?
Yes.
Okay.
So they have dialogue with each other. So it very much feels like the plan was to have those two characters on the screen with you as AI partners,
This is a 3-player co-op game.
And this is what I think is actually more likely is supposed to be a 2 to 3 player co-op game, which, in fairness, would be fucking awesome.
Is it co-op available?
No, it's completely single player only.
Wow, so it's not. That doesn't even have that from Saints Row,
no.
Where you could just casually have someone running around as the president along with you, and just running around doing ground slams on aliens for the sake of it.
The Saints Row, for me, is this game's other big problem. It's Volition and Deep Silver have made this point of saying this is not a Saints Row game. Then they kind of went, but it's kind of set in the Saints Row universe, but we want it to be its own thing. Fine. If that's the case, and I say this with a really heavy heart, don't fucking sell me Johnny Gat. Now, don't get me wrong, I adore Johnny Gat as a character. I know a lot of people don't, and I know at least one person that just generally doesn't understand how this guy became this Saints Row icon. I just think he's funny, I love his lines, I think he's brilliant, he's such a cool character. But if you don't want me to see your game as a Saints Row game, don't have me playing as Johnny Gat. More importantly, don't have the Johnny Gat character have the best cheese weapon available early on in the game.
Oh, what?
He's basically got an almost automatic, high rate of fire, high spread, high damage automatic shotgun.
Oh.
And it is fucking brutal. Like, I went on missions, and at points I got to the end of the mission and went, I didn't change from Johnny Gat once. Because I didn't need to. Because his mayhem meter is basically, he goes all John Woo. And it is literally John Woo as well. So you press the shoulder buttons and doves fly out. And he just, he will shoot anything that is near him, auto-aiming. The only restriction is how quick you can hit the trigger button.
Wow.
It is so OP. It's so powerful. And it allowed me to cheese through points of this game. I was like, and I suddenly realised I've literally taken all of the challenge out of this game by playing as Johnny Gat.
See, when you said that Johnny Gat had an ultimate cheese weapon, and the way that you were describing it, I was honestly expecting you to say dildo and not shotgun.
No. So, but this is kind of the problem with it, though. So, I mean, I'm happy for a game to be set in the Saints Row universe. There are a few things in it that are really cool. Like there's like the Ultor marketing department is mentioned a few times. You know, and Ultor obviously is from Saints Row. We have more than once Stillwater has been mentioned.
Cool.
Which is amazing.
Was Nightblade mentioned?
Not so far.
Oh.
Killbane was, though.
Alright.
Someone was watching Killbane wrestle on TV.
Cool.
You know, these are really, really cool things. And that's the kind of... It's a bit like watching a Marvel TV show and they're mentioning stuff that happens in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, like the event.
Yeah. But people that have seen it get it. People that have seen it understand your little wink to what's gone on elsewhere, and we move on. People that haven't don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But when you crowbar in as much Saints Row stuff as you can, including making the whole thing's logo a futuristic fleur-de-lis, which you don't tell me it's not a Saints Row game and then make its logo the Saints Row logo. Just fuck off. You know, and I say this with love. I think the guys at Volition, I think they're really funny. I think their writing is great. I think they make great action games. This just, it feels like they wanted to make Saints Row 5 and were told no, and it feels like they wanted to make, this game be Saints Row 5, but they weren't allowed to. It doesn't feel right. There's just something about it that it just doesn't sit right with me, and it was starting to bug me. And I'd done the same thing. I don't know if you've done it as well, but I've done it with Saints Row 3, and both times I played through Saints Row 4, and then obviously with Get Out of Hell, because that's pretty much the only way you can do it. I played all the loyalty missions first, got all of my people, done all of their loyalty missions, and then went and done the story. So by the time I get to the story, I've already been playing for 8-10 hours, and I've unlocked a shitload, and now I'm far too fucking powerful for any of these story missions. But when you get to that point, it just gets fucking boring.
Yeah.
And the thing was, and this is what I mean when I say it feels like Saints Row, when I played it, that's literally the only game I do that with is Saints Row. But it just felt so natural to be playing it that way. It just felt like that was the way I needed to play the game, is to unlock everybody and be super powerful. But what it doesn't have when you do that is the fun factor that, say, Saints Row 4 had. So Saints Row 4, when you unlocked all these powers, suddenly you can literally jump over tower blocks. You know, you can run insanely fast. You can do all kinds of crazy shit, and it's just fun. And it doesn't feel like that much fun in Agents of Mayhem. I really wanted to love it, and I really do kind of like it, and I hope that when I get towards the end and I've played it for a bit more, I hope my opinion of it improves. But at the moment, it's just a kind of middle of the road game. You know, it's just, which is really sad because I really want more. And they have a tech girl in it called Gremlin, who really annoys me, and doesn't just annoy me because she's annoying. It annoys me because they're trying so desperately to make a character as cool as Kinsey, and they haven't. I want Kinsey back. If you're going to sell me a Saints Row character, sell me Kinsey.
Yeah.
Because Kinsey was fucking cool. Oh, and Pierce is in it, but he's not Pierce, but he's definitely Pierce. And that was almost the last straw for me when I went, you've got the guy that plays Pierce from Saints Row playing another character who is exactly the same as Pierce from Saints Row. I'm pretty sure his name's Kingpin, as in from Saints Row. It should have been such a cool game, and it is fun, but it's not as big and clever as it fucking thinks it is.
It sounds like they wanted to make Saints Row. They were told not to make Saints Row. So they made Saints Row, got caught making Saints Row.
Yeah.
Very hastily said, "Oh, it's called Agents of Mayhem," and then just ran with that. Didn't make any changes to the game that they'd already started making, and just bolted on that and just said, we're not making Saints Row. We've not made Saints Row. So here's Saints Row Classic Junior Edition with some DLC Saints Row character, so you can play Saints Row with your not Saints Row game. Yeah. But don't worry, it's not Saints Row. They've thrown Saints Row at this enough that people confuse it and think, Saints Row 5's coming soon.
It's really sad because it does make a point of telling you, or kind of showing you, if you know it, that it follows on directly from the end of Get Out of Hell. Did you ever finish Get Out of Hell?
I've never finished it.
You have the choice at the end of Get Out of Hell to recreate Earth.
Cool.
So basically undo everything that happened in Saints Row 4.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And I was like, oh, cool, now we can have Saints Row 5. No. Now we can have Agents of Mayhem.
Yep.
The multinational agency hunting evil masterminds.
Yeah, multinational.
That's what Mayhem stands for. And we will just forget the fact that there's no Y in multinational agency hunting evil masterminds.
So it's Agents of Mayhem.
Yeah. But we do, of course, their main bad guys are Legion, who are the League of Evil Gentlemen intent on obliterating nations.
Okay.
Shit like that means I should be having a buttload of fun with that game.
It does. It sounds like you should be, running around slapping people with a dildo.
Yep.
And then playing the game.
Sadly, no dildo slapping.
It's not a fun game without dildos.
No, it's not. What they need is an Amazon Dash.
You take the dildos out of the game, and the game stops being fun.
Yep.
It's what happened with GTA. They took dildos out of it, and then it became boring and brown.
Yep. It does have some, it's got some interesting ideas. Like, there's no super jumps over buildings, but you can triple jump. So your traversal is basically the same as it is in Saints Row 4. It's building to building to building, because you can triple jump.
You can't run up the side of them anymore?
No, but there's no buildings that you need to. And any that are that tall, they're almost platform puzzlers to get up, or there are elevators.
Oh.
Yeah.
But you can't fly either.
No.
Or do the nuclear swan dive.
No. But this is kind of what I mean. It's just not Saints Row. And I really, I would have been happy if it wasn't Saints Row, but it was its own thing. But it's not. It's not Saints Row, but it is Saints Row, and it's trying to be Saints Row. But I thought I was going to be really excited to play as Johnny Gat. Turned out actually he was really kind of a dick, and he ruined the game for me.
Did Johnny Gat even use shotguns in Saints Row?
Nope. Pistols. Submachine guns, sorry.
Yeah.
Submachine guns.
I feel somewhat annoyed.
It's kind of, I'll tell you what it is. It's basically a hero shooter in an open world.
Okay.
So your team, you can always have like one tank, one assault guy, and one kind of dude that runs around just with submachine guns or high firing pistols. And then everyone's got a little thing they do. Like, one's got a turret, one has one freezes people.
Another has a dubstep gun.
No dubstep gun, sadly. The guy that freezes people his name is Codename Yeti, and when you go and collect him, it's fucking Oleg from Saints Row. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake! You just give me Saints Row. Volition, I know you're not listening to this, but on the off chance, please, just give me Saints Row 5. I'll be so much happier. And so will everybody that bought Agents of Mayhem.
So, Oleg, Pierce, Kinsey, Gat, no Nightblade.
Not yet.
I need Nightblade. Give me Nightblade.
No, but I don't get turned into a toilet at any point either.
What?
This is it, you see. But it's so bizarre, because you look at Saints Row and you go, what do you mean you go around in what looks like a 3D Tron environment killing people as a toilet with a machine gun? But when you actually play it, it is so much fun. And it's not just adolescent, I'm a toilet, fun. It's genuinely really fun to play. I've played through Saints Row 4 maybe 3 times. I'm pretty sure I've platinumed or 100% achievemented it 3 times. You need to play the game for 40 hours minimum to do that. Because there's a trophy to play the game for 40 hours. I spent 120 hours playing Saints Row 4, and I would gladly go back and play it again. This, I'm struggling to want to finish it. And it's a real shame. Especially because I spent £45 on it.
guessing you haven't bumped into Shawnee ripoff yet either.
Not yet. But I do, I do want to stress that I've basically gone around and unlocked all of the characters. And now I'm just about jumping into doing story stuff. So it might get an awful lot better. I'm not holding my breath. Oh, that was the other thing. Sorry. One last thing, really quickly about it, right? So, Legion have lairs, right? Underground lairs, where you have to hack a thing to open a door and go in and do stuff there. Now, those lairs, you need to go in there to rescue agents. You usually need to go in there to turn off a thing attacking something, or you need to go in there to collect a MacGuffin that you're going to need later on. Or there's also a world domination minigame, and once every 2 or 3 countries you have to go in and get one and clear out a lair. These lairs are all the same.
All the same?
All look the same. They all look exactly the same. They look like procedurally generated areas, but the procedural generation consists of 4 things. You get a corridor or 3 different types of room, and that's all you get, those added into each other. They are literally all the fucking same. I must have done 20 of them so far, and I fucking hate them because they are all the same. And this is what, when I say that I was starting to lose my patience playing the game, it will go, oh, you've got to go do this lair, and I'd go, really? Do I have to? Like, I purposely stopped playing one of the mini games because it meant I was going to have to go and do another one of these lairs. It's just no. It feels unfinished, and I don't know. I want to finish it to say I finished it, but I don't care if I don't finish it. At the same time, I kind of want to support the people that made it because I want them to make Saints Row 5. Just no. I can't recommend it to anybody that isn't a proper 100% diehard Saints Row fan, and even then it might test your patience a little bit.
What was the extra DLC character that you were mentioning on Twitter that was a rip-off something?
It's called, the pre-order DLC that isn't Johnny Gat is called Legal Action Pending.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck do you mean legal? I don't get it. I don't get the joke. And then it's basically a bunch of extra skins for your characters. And one of them is Hollywood, the actor guy.
Yep.
Who, his normal thing is like a grey and purple suit with a light fleur-de-lis on it.
Okay.
And the alternative skin is a red and gold uniform with a bright white fleur-de-lis on it, called Man of Iron.
Ah.
It basically takes the piss out of a load of Marvel characters. Like the Yeti guy, Oleg, from Saints Row, has a definitely 100% not a Hulk rip-off skin.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple. There's like a Wonder Woman one, and there's a few. They're fun. But again, not worth the pre-order DLC. This game will be 25 quid in a month. Buy it then.
Got it. So essentially what we've said is we both played games that it would be best if you were to wait for it to at least half in price.
Yeah. I honestly thought most of what I was going to say about Agents of Mayhem was going to be positive. But the more I think about it and the more I talk about it, the more I don't want to play it anymore.
I kind of still want to, just because I enjoy playing games where I get to run around smacking things with, well, other things.
There's a lot of fun. And this is it's really bizarre. The only reason I bought it on disc was because I wanted to play as Johnny Gat, and the only way in this country to play as Johnny Gat was to buy it on disc. So in fact, if you want to play it, I will lend you my disc. You don't even need to borrow it from Boomerang.
See, wait, surely the Xbox Store version would have had the option for those downloads.
Nope.
I don't for a second believe
the pre-order downloads, the legal action pending. You got that. Johnny Gat was exclusive to stores, not digital.
Fucking hell. Wait, if it's exclusive to stores,
Mm-hmm.
how do you even get the code? Because normally,
With a
unless
code.
it probably shows up on the Xbox store, but it'll be shown as like not available.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that happens a lot. There's always something that says that for some reason it's just not available,
Yeah.
or it'll come up saying bundle only, and you'll click on the link, and it'll then take you to an empty page because there's no bundle available with Johnny Gat on it.
Yeah, which is what happened to me, which is why I then ended up asking Agents of Mayhem on Twitter. Why I asked them? No, I asked the Agents of Mayhem Twitter account, not the actual Agents of Mayhem. I asked them where in the UK I could get Johnny Gat, and they said the only place is in stores. Okay, and then I tried to be cheeky and asked when I was going to be allowed to buy it digitally, and they went, "Yeah, we have no date for that yet." So I was like, fine, fuck it, I'll buy it.
Is it just in the UK it's only available in digital?
I think
on stores.
I think in the States, I looked into it a bit. I think in the States it's only available. Johnny Gat is only available if you buy it from Best Buy.
Yeesh.
I don't know. It is, the thing is, it is a money spinner. It is something that people that have spent more than half an hour playing Saints Row and more than 6 seconds looking at an advert for Agents of Mayhem know that this is the same universe. And when if half of those people go, oh, I love Johnny Gat, I'm definitely playing as him, people will buy it. Ironically, I saved 10 quid by buying it on disc. I got it for 38 quid from Shop2Net, which included it in steelbook form with all of the DLC. With all the DLC, and it wasn't 50 quid digital, which was good. But yeah, it was
And you got to play as Johnny Gat before realizing that maybe playing as Johnny Gat's not a good idea.
It's good. I think it's good to have him in your team because he is pretty badass, and if you're playing with the difficulty up, he might be a help. And it's always worth having him around for his dialogue, because the guy that does Johnny Gat's dialogue is outstanding. But you miss out on all the other characters, and most of them have great dialogue as well. There's a couple that are a bit shit.
Yeah, you see, the way that I'm going to play it is that I'm literally going to pick the characters based on their dialogue. I don't care how good or useful they are. If their dialogue is good, I will use them. Yep. It's how I played Andromeda in the end. Is that I didn't care for what the characters were capable of. I just picked the two that I did, and then I realised that I consistently always chose these two based on the fact that their dialogue was the best, and that was PB and Drac.
Yeah,
the best way. It was the best dialogue you got out of was because of those two.
Yeah, but it's got this thing where it kind of goes like each mission you need a couple of specialities, and obviously each character has their own speciality. So you kind of have to have a bit of an.
Okay, so you can choose to play with these characters, but occasionally you get to a point where it's like, oh, by the way, you need to use one of these guys, so you'll have to sacrifice one of these ones.
Yeah, but I mean, everyone apart from maybe two of these people, every one of them has got decent dialogue. They're all fun, and it doesn't change the way the game plays at all, really. But like I said, basically what you end up with is an up close, fast-paced submachine guy, someone with an assault rifle, or like Gat, who's got like a high-end shotgun. Because Gat doesn't really play the tank role; he plays the assault role just with a shotgun.
Yeah.
And then you have a tank, which there's a chick, there's a roller derby chick covered in tattoos and swearing, who carries a minigun. There's the Yeti. There's the main big guy. There's the guy from the trailer, the Ahoy motherfuckers guy. Who he's a tank, but he's just a dude with a shotgun. But there are some of them. If you don't take the right people with you, it makes the mission almost impossible. Which is not what you want. You don't want to sit there getting stressed out because it's taken you an hour to take out one boss when it should have taken you 5 minutes if you brought the right guy with you.
Yeah.
And it does punish you for that as well, because I discovered that when I actually managed to kill off one of my agents, and it was the guy I needed to kill a boss, and it took me 40 minutes instead of 5 because I couldn't revive my guy.
It sounds like the game's like, you should use this guide. You went, no, fuck you, I'll do what I want.
Yeah.
And then the game turns around and goes, well, we did warn you.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, there's like there's points you have to unlock. There's the same as Saints Row. Now, this is something I'm saying a lot, but it's Saints Row 4. You know, there's areas you have to unlock. There's areas you take over, and you take over certain areas, and you can unlock the map. And like Saints Row 4, there's warp points that you can unlock, so you can choose where in the city you're going to warp to. It's not a particularly big map, considering it's set in Seoul. It's not a very big map at all. And yeah, I'd try it. You might like it. It's alright.
I'll give it a go, but its lack of co-op certainly, hampers the game for me, I think.
Just lower expectations a little bit. That might be the problem. I got so excited for this, and I was so ready for another Saints Row game that when that's not what I got, I was just disappointed. But I don't know. I've got a couple of games that I want to play. I've bought Hellblade, like I said in the other episode. I've still got Hellblade on the PS4 to play. I might play that and just give Agents of Mayhem a miss for a little bit.
Go back to it when you're hung up on giant floppy dildos in Saints Row 5.
Yeah, but I'm kind of in the planning stages as well, so I want to clear. There's that, and I don't think there's any other games that are only out on the Xbox that I'm going to buy. So what I want to do is, before the price goes down the toilet completely, is I want to box up my Elite and eBay it, so I've got funds for my Xbox One X that I'm then going to sell for £1,000.
Yeah. And then buy a second Xbox One X.
Yeah, because I'm not trading it into game, because, well, the game offered me, I think, 130 quid for it, and just a very quick eBay search, people were selling it for 150 straight away.
Yeah.
So, even with postage and fees, I'm getting more than game would give me.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I want to finish Agents of Mayhem because I've started it, and I'll see what else is installed on the Xbox that I need to finish before I get rid of it. But yeah, I might be a PlayStation only kind of player for a month or so. But I think that's all of my. That's the only game I played.
And that means that we're all done then.
So before we disappear off, mate, have you got a recommendation? Or did you forget that we needed to do a recommendation? Because it's the one thing we haven't actually mentioned in the entire time we've been talking.
Yeah, I may have forgotten.
Okay, that's fine. I'll just give my recommendation. And so, obviously, the day this goes up, so on Friday, today, yesterday, whenever you happen to be listening to this, the day this goes up is the 1st September, which means we're soon due new Games for Gold and PS Plus games. Announced today, or yesterday, I think, on Tuesday the 5th of September, PlayStation Plus games roll round, and on the PS4 we get Infamous Second Son for free. That has to be my recommendation, I think. It sucks a little bit because it's 3 years old. You can pick it up for about £8 most places. But anybody that's had a PS4 and PS Plus long enough already has Infamous Last Light, which was the standalone expansion to Second Son already. And you can actually play Last Light and then play Second Son, because that's kind of how the story runs. I know a lot of people didn't like it as much as the other Infamous games. I actually think Second Son is an excellent game. Another game I spent quite a fair amount of time on, and a fair amount of time chasing the platinum on as well. So yeah, really worth picking up. A good freebie, even if it is a bit late and a bit long in the tooth.
Oh wow! Apparently, Forza 5's getting
Yep.
getting put into Games with Gold just in time for Forza 7.
Do you remember when I bought Forza 5?
No.
So we were at work and had nothing to do, and we were on Hot UK deals, and somebody discovered that you could game the game website, who was selling an Xbox One, or an Xbox, yeah, it must have been Xbox One, and Forza 5 for 200 quid or something. It was like, buy the game, or buy the machine, get the game for a penny.
Yeah.
So you could do that, add it all to the basket, then remove the Xbox, and you would just get Forza 5 for a penny.
Oh. Yeah.
I bought Forza 5 for a penny 2 years ago. I definitely
now,
got that penny's worth out of it. Free, nah.
in 2 years, it depreciated in value by a penny.
Yep.
How does that make you feel? Don't you wish your car could do that?
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that Forza 5 was it, and I did look at that and go, you're having a laugh. That's 4 Forzas ago now.
Horizon 2, 6, yep, Horizon 3.
Yep.
And now 7's coming out soon.
Yep. And 7's going to be the only launch title for the Xbox One X now that Crackdown's been delayed again.
Yep. Well, launch title, schmonce title, on the grounds that there's other games that are getting texture packs.
Oh yeah, first thing I do is install Gears of War. First thing I do.
Well, there's a couple of games that already have some sort of texture pack on them for the Xbox One S HDR capabilities.
Yeah.
So, I think Mass Effect Andromeda has it, but it does cause the game to get a bit of frame rate lag because the Xbox One S just isn't powerful enough for it.
No. Hopefully the One X will be.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting. It's like the most powerful games console ever. Still
Frame
can't
drops.
Still can't handle most games.
Bloody hell. Right. We've been going for quite a while, considering we said this was going to be a short one.
We did keep getting distracted. I think
True.
that's because of the tiredness.
Yeah. Sorry. Hopefully when I listen back to this tomorrow, when I'm editing it, it actually sounds alright. Otherwise, I'm in for a long night editing all of the shit out of it.
I was going to say, you could end up with a long night editing out like an hour's worth of crap for 20 minutes worth of substance.
So before we fill it up with any more garbage, my friend, between now and the next episode, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter as @thejohn_cu and on Xbox Live as LongDongSilver.
Cool. I am on Twitter, I'm @Brooker411, and we are @Character Unlock on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You can email us on mail@characterunlock.com. Don't forget to find our iTunes feed and rate and review it if you like it, or if you don't, you can stick a thing on there saying we're absolute dog shit, but we'd prefer an email if you want us to change something. You know?
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that's done. We've pimped each other, we've pimped the podcast. I think it's time to say goodnight, my friend.
Good night, my friend.
Yeah. Good night, mate. Good night, everyone.